Hey there, drone fans. Today I'd like to try and answer a question that I get all the time, and it just happened again last weekend. I was out flying with a few other pilots that brought some friends along that had never flown a drone before, but were incredibly curious about the hobby. And they had a million questions about how hard is it to control a drone? Can I fly over there? How high can I go? How long does it take to charge a battery? So we spent the entire day pretty much educating them on the hobby and the technology behind it. And at the end of the day, as you can imagine, they were incredibly jazzed. And the question they asked me was, what drone should I fly? Now, that's a loaded question because it really depends on a couple of different things. And I get it a lot, and I ask the same questions every time that start with, what kind of experience do you have in the hobby? Have you ever flown an RC product before? How technically savvy are you? Do you understand electronics? Do you know how to charge things? Can you take care of electronics? So what's your experience around high-tech gear like this? If you're a newbie, this is really easy. There's not a lot of complicated things. You charge the drone, you go out, you put the drone up, just fly it safely and you'll be fine. But I need to know if you're an experienced pilot, or at least experienced with RC products. The second question I ask, which is the dangerous one, what's your budget? Because I think a lot of people think, I'm going to go out and buy the most expensive, biggest, baddest drone I can get my hands on and just start flying. And that's not always a good idea because there is a learning curve. Even though most of the drones nowadays have safety features built in like return to home and crash avoidance, you really have to understand how the drone interacts with the controller, and it takes a little while to understand the behavior of the drone and how it reacts to things. So I always recommend, even if you can afford one of the big flashy drones, you might want to start with something simpler until you get really good at flying. So the budget's important, but then the third question is, what are you going to use the drone for? Are you heading out on the weekends and you're just going to fly for fun, which is a great thing to do. That's what I do most of my time. Or are you going to start getting into commercial work? Do you think that you're going to go out and get your Part 107, you're going to become an experienced pilot, you're going to start doing real estate photography and scanning of fields and things like that? Because those are two different drones completely. And then the fourth question is around features. What do you need in the drone? Now, as a new pilot, you probably don't need a whole lot. At a bare minimum, you're going to want a drone that does return to home automatically if the battery gets slow or if there's some problem with the technology. You're going to want a drone that's easy to fly. You'll probably want a drone that has some automated features built in where you can push a button and have it do automated flight patterns around an object or down towards an object. So features are kind of important, but honestly, that's almost like table stakes nowadays. Most drones have pretty cool features built in. But the last question, which is the most important one, is the hassle factor. And I don't know how to describe this any better than saying this is a complex environment. It's a very complex relationship between the controller and the drone, how the drone stays up in the air, how the drone stays stable, how it stabilizes the footage, the transmission technology to get that image back from the camera to your controller. Complicated stuff. The good news is companies like DJI and DJI in particular have made it incredibly simple. So they've taken all that complexity out of flying a drone, and again, it really is just as simple as powering up the drone, powering up the controller, putting the drone in the air with a single push button takeoff, and then enjoying the flight. And when you're flying, you've got your fingers on the controller. If you get scared, just take your thumbs off the joystick. This drone will stay in midair. It'll move nowhere. It'll stay right where you left it. So it is incredibly easy to fly, even though under the surface of this, there's a lot of complex things going on. So at the end of the day, what I always suggest for any pilot that's entering the hobby and just getting started is to find a drone that answers all those questions, that's as cost effective as possible, because the secret that a lot of people don't talk about is that most drones fly exactly the same. So if you start off with something small, $200-300 drone, and you get good on the controller, you can always upgrade to a more sophisticated drone or a more expensive drone because you need better imaging quality or you want some whiz-bang feature that drone has. So you can learn on this. And I kind of think back to when I first started driving. I didn't go out and buy a brand new car. Not that I could afford it, but I bought an old junker. And I drove that junker a lot. I drove that junker until the engine seized, but it gave me a feel for how to drive, right? And sure enough, you know, I'd bang into things every now and then because I wasn't real good with parking, and I'd back into something here and there. But those dings are on the old car, so that when I finally was able to afford a car later in life, a newer car, I didn't have the problems. I was an expert, I was a good driver at that point, and I could avoid all those things. So start with something simple, get really good at it. And if you find that the hobby's right for you, and I'm promising you it probably is going to be, you can always upgrade to something later on. So that brings me to the question, what drone should I start with? Well, I'm going to caution you because there are a lot of drones that look like a good bargain, that are under $300, under $200, under $100. And they may seem like they fly great, and you'll read the specifications and they talk about 4K imaging and stabilized flight and crash avoidance and return to home. You really have to do your homework because a lot of that is salesmanship. It's not really built into the drone. When they say 4K footage, maybe they don't really mean 4K. They mean 1080p on a good day with the right sunlight. So you have to read through those things. But the biggest hassle for less expensive drones is a thing I'll call trim. Now, a DJI drone like this, they've had a lot of years to perfect this technology. They essentially invented the folding drone and they invented the mini drone. Everybody else followed them into the market. They've had a lot of generations to iterate, to build better technology, to understand where they made mistakes, and they've made a few, and improve that, and improve that, and improve that. So with the DJI gear, the reason I'm such a fan of it is because they've matured through those painful learning curves to get to the point where there are no hassles with this drone. Whereas with other drones, you may have to put them up in the air, and you'll find that if you get 10 or 15 minutes of flight time, you might spend 5 minutes just trimming that drone, because when you first put it up, it's going to drift and you got to trim it. Or maybe it's elevating, you got to bring it down. You want to get it stable. I don't want to waste a lot of time with the hassle of stabilizing a drone. I want to put it up, put it out where I want to take photos or take video and capture that image or capture that video and then come back and land. I don't want to deal with trimming it and worrying about is it going to fly off into a tree. So you really want to be careful to stay above that fray of like the experimental stuff down in that, boy, that looks like a good bargain bin, right? My recommendation would be start off with something like this mini 4K. This I know I sound like I'm pitching for DJI, but this is really the minimum of what I'd recommend a new pilot try. Now the 4K is a phenomenal drone. For all intents and purposes, it does everything the bigger drones do in a smaller package that's way less expensive. You can find a mini 4K kit with the controller and the drone for less than $300 with a single battery. Now what this drone gives you is it gives you 4K footage, true 4K footage. It gives you up to 31 minutes of flight time on a fully charged battery. Now, you know you're not going to get a full 31. It'll probably be 20, 22 minutes, but that's a lot of time up in the air. The important thing, though, is it's got a proprietary transmission technology, which a lot of those other drones that are less expensive don't have. And it's based on OcuSync, which is, again, proprietary, which means you can get a 10-kilometer distance between where you're standing and where the drone's flying. Now, as a new flyer, you can't fly that far. Nobody can fly that far. You have to keep the drone in visual line of sight. But knowing you've got a 10-kilometer distance between the two means that you're not going to have any problems with signal. All the other less expensive drones, for the most part, use a standard Wi-Fi signal, which will give you a couple thousand feet, and that's it. So those are a little bit sketchy there. Another nice thing about this drone is it's under 249 grams, or under 250 grams, which is important because in the US, if a drone weighs less than 250 grams, you don't have to worry about registering it with the FAA. You don't have to get any insurance for it. You don't have to take any tests. You can just go out and have fun with it as long as you follow the rules that the FAA has put out there. And those are published on their website. But essentially, you can't fly higher than 400 feet. You got to keep the drone in visual line of sight. You can't fly over people, can't fly in no-fly zones or restricted airspace. Just be smart about it. That's all. You're out there to have fun. Don't try to get into trouble. Don't fly over some secure facility where you're going to get everybody all wired up. So the Mini 4K for me is kind of the base level entry, and it's around a $300 price point depending on where you find it and what kind of sales are going on, which seems like a lot of money. But I'm here to tell you, I don't have a lot of hobbies. And when I first started flying RC planes and then eventually got into drones, when they first started becoming mature, there's nothing better than me being out on a beautiful sunny afternoon with the beautiful breeze in my hair, what little hair I have left, and enjoying the afternoon in the fresh air and sunshine, flying a drone 150, 200 feet over a lake that I've never been on or a forest I've never actually explored. I just come home smiling every time I put a drone up, and I can tell you that's going to be your experience as well, as long as you get something that has little hassle, very little hassle on it. And the Mini 4K is a great example of a drone that does that. And there's others. I mean, the Mini 5 Pro is better. You've got the Neo 2. You've got, a lot of DJI drones. And there are other drones from Potensic and a few others that make them. But I like the 4K. I've been flying it ever since it was released, actually before it was released. And I take it with me all the time. It's my travel drone. So I hope you found some value in this. I will caution you at the end of this clip, if you're not in the hobby at this point and you're thinking, gee, Rick, that sounds like so much fun. I really want to get into the hobby and start flying. Don't wait. We're in the middle of summer here in the US. Get a drone, get out there and start flying. I don't care what you fly. Just get up in the air and that experience will elevate your day. It'll relieve your stress. You'll come home smiling. You'll kiss the wife. Everything's going to be golden. So that's it for me today. Hopefully you found some value in this clip. And until next time, as always, happy flying.